Well, the results are in, and Cal Raleigh is not an MVP according to the voters. Even with a historic season with the most home runs by a catcher, the most home runs by a switch hitter, the most home runs by a Mariner, the seventh player to reach 60 home runs in total, and tied for the most multi-home run games in a single season. Even with all those numbers, according to the voters, Cal Raleigh was not MVP. Honestly, baseball writers who get these votes get it wrong all the time, honestly. But you might be surprised about who was wrong about this. Or maybe you won't be. Larry Stone points out that on the Pacific time zone, Raleigh won the vote 5-1. On the East, the vote was split 7-7. But in that Central time zone, the vote was 9-1, overwhelmingly in favor of Judge. So we didn't see as much of that East Coast bias that we might have thought, but we did see a lot of Midwest bias. Who gets those votes? That East Coast bias vote that we were expecting but didn't really get, well, we got it in Texas. Kennedy Landry, Sean McFarland, out of Texas for the Rangers, they voted for Judge. Chandler Rome, Javier Gonzalez out of Houston, they voted for Judge. I'm sensing some animosity there and just not wanting to give the MVP to the rightful player because there's somebody who destroys you in your division. Shame on them, and really shame on everybody who got this wrong. Even though they were smart enough to make Cal Raleigh an All-MLB First Team player, they were not smart enough to make him the MVP. Because the story is with Cal Raleigh. And the actual most valuable player was Cal Raleigh. No shade to Aaron Judge, who had another phenomenal season and is one of the best offensive players of all time. But where's the story? In the future, when they look up the 2025 AL MVP and see Aaron Judge, they're just going to see that he led a majority of the offensive statistics. Not some amazing story. With Cal Raleigh, they would have seen all the records that were tied and all the records that were set. They would have seen a story of a player who carried their team to the playoffs and further in the playoffs than they've ever been. Fans know who the real MVP is, Cal Raleigh, the big dumper.